Hi guys, this is Bison and I am back with a new position where you have to find a winning idea for white. You can see here black has a double pawn structure on a file and this knight on g2 is pinned by the white bishop. Also this dark square bishop on g1 is pinned by the rook. So pause the video and try to find the winning sequence for white. And guys, if you think that white can simply capture the pawn by rook takes a3, but guys, in reality, that's a huge blunder. And the reason for that I am saying this is basically because of the move bishop to d4. And the idea is to cover the a1 square so that white can't give a check. And let's suppose if you captures on a4, which also attacks the bishop. But guys, here's a catch. Instead of defending the bishop, black will simply slides the king to g1 so that he can promote the h pawn. And obviously now white can't stop this due to this because this dark square bishop is eyeing on the a1 square, which I already told you. So that's why after rook takes d4, simply black will promote, and if you tries to give a check by rook to d1 and after king to h2, if rook takes h1 check, simply king takes h1, and in the next move simply king to g1 and then simply h2 and then h1, and clearly you can see this is completely winning for black. And obviously white can't stop this. So let me go back. Okay, so let's suppose if white goes for the move rook to a2, hoping that he can create some pressure over the knight, but in reality this is even worse because black will again go for bishop to d4 with the same idea so that white can't give a check. And you cannot capture this knight by bishop takes g2 because after h takes g2 in the next move no one can stop this pawn from promotion, because as I said this a1 square is already covered by the bishop. There is a big dilemma here. So how can white proceed? Okay, so let me go back. Yep, and guys, basically here the correct sequence starts with the move king to b8. And I know there must be many questions running through your mind, but keep watching, everything will slowly start to make sense. Okay, so since this bishop, knight and these two pawns are pinned, so the only move for black is to go for the move a2. And guys, now from now onwards, the crazy part of this game starts because the continuation for white is the move bishop to a8. And guys, just wait, everything will make sense after few moves. Okay, so since black all pieces can't move except this pawn, so black is now forced to play a3. And guys, let me tell you something. From this position, there are many ways for white to win the game, but in this video, I will show you the fastest one. So from here, tell me in the comments that which sequence you are following to mate black. Okay, so in this position, the next amazing move for white is king to b7. And now some of you might be thinking that black has now no moves left and that would be a stalemate. But guys, just look at this position carefully. The king on b7 is blocking the diagonal of this light square bishop. So now you can see this knight is free. So and now no matter where this knight goes, in every case this is winning for white. Okay, so let's suppose if this knight goes to e3, now comes this crazy move king to c7, a discover check by the bishop, and since there is no legal square left for the king, so black is now forced to defend this check by bringing this knight back on g2. And guys, now again we will take benefit of this by king to c6, and again you can see this king is blocking, so knight to f4, and now we will give a check again, knight to g2. And guys, we are doing this so that our king reaches on f3. So that's why king to d5, knight to e3 check, king to e5, a discover check, so knight to g2, king to e4, knight to e3, king to f4 check, knight to g2, king to f3, and finally knight to e3. And now King to e2 check is also winning, but we can also go for rook takes a2. And now black can either, now you can see now this bishop as well as the knight both are free. And here one thing is clear, that black can't place this bishop on f2 because then white will simply capture. So that's why knight to g2 is the only move which makes sense. And also don't forget that black also has to protect the king. And now we will go for king to e2, and basically we want to place this king on f1 so that we can capture this knight in the next move with our light square bishop. And as you can see, since this knight on g2 is pinned, so black is now forced to move this bishop. So let's suppose if this bishop goes to c5 so that he can protect the pawn. Now king to f1, and you can see in the next move white is threatening to sacrifice the rook on g2, because after h takes g2 simply bishop takes g2 would be a checkmate. So to delay this, the only option which is left for black is bishop to f2. But guys, here's the thing, now do not blunder by rook takes f2, because now black can come back into the game and he can do this by this amazing move a2. And guys, here white cannot capture on d2 because then black would because you can see by this now there will be no legal move left for black, and that would be a stalemate. And you can see in the next move black will simply going to promote a queen. So that's why after bishop to f2 the correct move is bishop to d5. And guys, this is basically a waiting move, because since there is no legal move left for black, and obviously this knight also can't move due to this bishop, so black is now forced to move this bishop from f2 square. And now wherever this bishop goes, we will finally sacrifice our rook, because after h takes g2 simply bishop takes g2 will be a checkmate. And guys, if you liked this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing position. Also let me know in the comments how many of you found this sequence. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.